Remember when buying a BMW meant you made it? You pulled up to the office, people turned their heads, and you felt like the smartest person in the parking lot. That was the dream. That was the flex. We all bought into it. Every single one of us. And for years, it worked. BMW, Mercedes, Tesla, these were the names that meant something. These were the cars that told the world you were ahead. Nobody is laughing at that dream anymore. But here's the thing, BYD, the company your neighbor still thinks makes cheap batteries, just released a compact SUV that starts at a price that should be criminal. And it doesn't just match what BMW and Tesla offer at twice the cost, it humiliates them, feature by feature, screen by screen, mile by mile. I am not clickbaiting you. This is the BYD Atto 2, and by the time I finish this video, you are going to question every single car decision you have ever made in your life. This is Atif Cars. Let's get into it. Let's start with the face, because the first time I saw this thing in person, I genuinely stopped walking. I'm not joking, I just stood there like an idiot on the pavement. The front end uses BYD's ocean aesthetic design language, and it is devastating. You get these ultra-slim pixel LED headlights that stretch across the entire front fascia. They don't just turn on, they animate, they pulse. They greet you when you walk up like the car is genuinely happy to see you. Meanwhile, my old car blinked twice and unlocked. That was the whole ceremony. The hood is low and sculpted with muscle lines that channel air perfectly over the roof. It looks wide, it looks planted, it looks like it costs 3 times what it actually costs. Park this next to a BMW X1 and the X1 looks like it was designed by someone who was very, very tired that day. It's clean, it's aggressive, it defies what we thought a budget SUV was allowed to look like. From the side, it gets worse. Worse for BMW, I mean. The profile is this flowing coupe SUV shape with frameless windows and flush door handles that disappear completely when you're driving. The roofline sweeps back in a way that makes it look like it's moving even when it's parked. The wheels are 18-inch aerodynamic blade alloys that look like they belong on a car costing $60,000. On a base model BMW X1, you are getting 17-inch basic alloys and paying $45,000 for the privilege. I am in actual pain. The rear is just as sharp. You get a full-width LED light bar that connects both taillights in one seamless glowing strip. It has depth, it has texture. It doesn't look like a budget decision, it looks like an intention. The diffuser is clean, the proportions are perfect, and the overall silhouette would make a Porsche Macan designer slightly nervous. Now let's talk about what's under the floor, because this is where things get genuinely insulting to the competition. The BYD Atto 2 runs on BYD's own Blade battery technology. This is not a standard lithium-ion pack. This is the same battery chemistry that survived a nail puncture test, a crush test, and a full charge fire test, without catching fire, without exploding, without doing any of the things that make EV battery headlines terrifying. The Blade battery doesn't just power the car, it is structurally integrated into the floor, making the whole platform stiffer and safer at the same time. Tesla's structural battery pack, the one Elon called revolutionary, works on the same principle. BYD had this in production years earlier. I'm not making this up. Range? You're looking at up to 312 kilometers on a single charge in the standard version, with the longer range variant pushing further. The motor puts out 150 kilowatts, that's 201 horsepower, and it launches from 0 to 100 in 7.3 seconds. Bro, I know that number sounds modest until you remember this is a compact family SUV that costs less than a well-spec'd Honda CR-V. This isn't supposed to be fast, but it is absolutely fast enough to make you grin every single time you merge onto a motorway. And the charging. Here is where I actually got angry on your behalf. The BYD Atto 2 supports DC fast charging. You plug it in and you can recover roughly 150 kilometers of range in about 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That is faster than the time it takes to eat a meal at a service station. Meanwhile, people are sitting in their $50,000 SUVs waiting 45 minutes for a slower charger to grudgingly push electricity into their car. We are paying more and getting less. This is not okay. This has never been okay, and now we don't have to accept it. Safety. This is where the Atto 2 does something that should embarrass every car manufacturer selling safety as a premium add-on. You get a full suite of active safety technology as standard, not as an optional package, not as a $3,000 upgrade. Standard. You get autonomous emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, and a 360-degree camera system that stitches together a bird's eye view of the entire car. My neighbor paid $2,500 extra on his German SUV just to get a reversing camera. One camera. This car gives you an orbital view of itself for free. It's embarrassing. It's honestly embarrassing. The 5-star ANCAP safety rating isn't a surprise at this point. It's almost expected. But the body structure underneath is built with high-strength steel that wraps the passenger cell in what BYD calls a safety cage architecture. If you crash this, the car is doing everything in its power to make sure you walk away. That is what $25,000 gets you in 2025, a car that actually wants you to survive it. Now, the interior. Open the door and take a breath, because nothing prepares you for this. Not at this price, not in this segment. The dashboard is dominated by a 10.1-inch rotating touchscreen. Rotating. You can spin it from landscape to portrait depending on what you're using it for. Navigation in landscape, apps in portrait. It swivels with a smooth electric motor and lands with a satisfying click. I have been in BMWs that cost $70,000 with screens that feel less satisfying to interact with. That is a sentence I cannot believe I am saying out loud, but here we are. The digital instrument cluster gives you a clean heads-up display of all your driving information. The ambient lighting system wraps the entire cabin in soft color. You get 12 colors. 12! You can match the mood to the music, to your morning, to your stress levels. You are not commuting in this car. You are arriving. Those are two completely different experiences, and the Atto 2 understands the difference. The seats are covered in a premium vegan leather that feels softer than what most European rivals put in at this price point. The front seats are heated, the steering wheel is heated, the rear seats have enough legroom for actual adults, not the theoretical adults that German engineers seem to design for, where everyone has legs that are exactly 28 inches long. Real people fit in this car. A family fits in this car. On a road trip, this car doesn't punish you for having passengers. The boot space is 310 liters, and if you fold the rear seats, it expands to a genuinely useful load space. Costco run? Done. IKEA? Done. That one friend who always needs a lift with suspiciously large bags? Done. This is a practical car dressed in clothes it has absolutely no right wearing at this price. Dialink, that is BYD's operating system running in the background of this entire experience. It is powered by a Snapdragon processor. It runs your navigation, your media, your climate control, your connected apps, and your over-the-air software updates, the kind that make the car genuinely better over time without you having to visit a dealer. Tesla made this feature famous. BYD delivered it in a car that costs a fraction of a Model Y. Over-the-air updates in an affordable compact SUV. Think about that for 1 second. Now, the price. A base model BMW X1 will take between $45,000 and $50,000 from your account before you've added a single option. A Tesla Model Y starts around $54,000. A Hyundai Tucson, if you want Korean competition, is sitting around $35,000 for a petrol variant with none of this technology. The BYD Atto 2 starts at around $25,000 to $28,000 depending on your market and spec level. $25,000. $25,000 for the rotating screen, the blade battery, the 360-degree cameras, the heated seats, the ambient lighting, the 5-star safety rating, and that face that stops people on pavements. I'm done. I am officially done. We are paying double for half the car and calling it a premium experience. That is the biggest automotive scam of the last decade. Here is what nobody is telling you about the Atto 2.
It is not trying to be a budget option. It is not compensating for its price with apologies and compromises. It is a direct challenge. BYD looked at what BMW charges $50,000 for, built the same result, and priced it at $25,000 because they could. Because they built the battery, they built the chip platform, they built the software. They control the entire supply chain. BMW buys parts, BYD builds planets, and now the everyday driver is the one who benefits. You deserve a car with this technology. You have always deserved it. The industry just convinced you that deserving it meant spending twice as much. While the big German brands were printing brochures about heritage and legacy, BYD was building the future. The future is $25,000. The future has a rotating screen and a blade battery and a face that makes a BMW X1 look ancient, basic, and deeply embarrassed. So I have to ask you, and I genuinely want to know, drop it in the comments right now, would you take the BYD Atto 2 at $25,000 over a BMW X1 at $50,000? Or are you still paying the badge tax? Let's find out. Smash that like button if this video made you question at least one car decision. Subscribe to Attiv Cars because we are just getting started, and ring that bell because next time we're looking at a BYD model that makes this one look like the affordable option. Yes, it gets worse, or better depending on whose side you're on.